Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another Basement Ready Arcade rant. Decided to do something different today. Decided to let the the live chat or lack thereof right now control the topics. We'll see who shows up. If not, we might have to scratch this idea of an open mic night. Oh, don't call me Danny's in the live chat. What's up, man? Thanks for stopping in. Doing something different. Don't call me Danny. Letting the chat pick the gaming related topics this evening for this BRAP rant. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. Got to put some more time into the Division 2 beta, which is actually pretty cool. The HDR actually looks much better than um, the private beta they had a couple weeks ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Like I think it's definitely I'm gonna probably enjoy it more than Anthem. Not that uh, get into Anthem at another. We're gonna actually talk about Anthem a little bit more on Wednesday. So, um, yeah, hey, I don't know if you guys saw the some of the news related regarding 5G. So, we know about 5G being fast, much faster than 4G. But apparently, it is quicker than anything you can get with a physical fiber optic cable going to your house. And they're saying the latency is lower than what Wi-Fi provides. So 5G could be the dramatic next step, kind of that we talk about game streaming. 5G could be that thing that really is the driving force behind game streaming. I mean, shit. I mean, if you're talking about latency that's better than Wi-Fi and speeds faster than fiber optic cables to your house, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, if you got a good 500 meg download right now to your house, you probably, from what I understand, or if you use Nvidia's streaming device service, you can actually stream things uh, pretty well. So, be interesting to see how this all plays out. I typically don't broadcast Sunday night, so I'm not surprised we don't have that many people watching. Let me see if I can get the word out there. Let's see what's going on here. All right. I'm gonna put this back out on Twitter. Let's see here. Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Red Man? So, yeah, if you guys want to, okay. So, don't call me Danny says, what's your most anticipated, most your, I can't even talk, guys. What's your most anticipated game release for the remainder of the year? Oh, that's a good question, man. Um, wow. I think it just depends, man. If The Last of Us 2 is confirmed for this year, I would say that. Um, but I'm gonna say probably Gears 5. I'm gonna go with Gears of War 5 because my understanding is that they're taking a little bit of a creative risk with the new Gears game. So I'm gonna go with Gears of War 5. That's my most anticipated game of 2019. So speaking of Gears 5, I'm actually thinking about building a PC. I mean, I think it just kind of makes sense now with still having the Xbox ecosystem available on PC. We know Game Pass is coming to PC. I can still interact with my friends on PC through Xbox Live. So I'm considering it now. I'm looking at PC with an Intel i7 core processor, and I'm probably looking at a NVIDIA RTX 2080 graphics card, not the 2080 Ti, which is a beast. That's too expensive, by the way. Um, but I'm looking at the RTX 2080. So probably looking at about probably about 2 grand for the rig. I figure why not? Why not take the leap, right? My understanding is gaming on PC. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Yeah, my understanding is that 4K on very high or ultra settings is a sight to see. So yeah, I don't know. I might take the plunge, guys. I might take the plunge. Might take the plunge. So I'll say this much. Um, if I could convince my wife, I'd probably get the 2080 Ti. That's what I would go with. All right. So there's actually been some gaming news this weekend, guys. I don't know if you guys have kept up with the news. Hold on a second here, guys. If you guys have read about the controversy surrounding Dead or Alive 6 and their season pass, I believe it is. Let me look this up again real quick because I read it earlier. Board distracts is over right on time. Yes, sir. I'm right on time. I actually started a little bit earlier. Let's see here. What is the situation with? Hold on a second, here, guys. I know, like, oh, here we go. Board Shark says, "Do you think Microsoft will help Nintendo build a more capable upgrade to the Switch?" I don't know, man. It's a good question. You know, they're working on something with Nintendo. We all assume it's Game Pass on the Switch, but it sounds like it could be something else. Who knows? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, if I mean, I don't know, man. That's a great question. Who knows? It'd be fascinating if that was happening behind the scenes. If they could help him build or even help him with the network stuff, improving Nintendo's online. I could see maybe Microsoft helping in that regard. That would be interesting. Yeah, the next generation is almost here. It's crazy to think about that. That potentially Microsoft at this E3 will announce new hardware, which is just mind-boggling considering how quick the this console gen has gone by. So, guys, I know. So I know this is the you pick the topics rant, but I do want to talk about something. Dead or Alive 6, their first season pass costs $93. And there's been a lot of uh, God, there's this console generation has been so much talk about loot boxes, DLC. Companies looking to publishers looking to add additional revenue. But yeah, Dead or Alive 6 is offering their first season pass for $93. It's going to give you access to 62 new costumes, 2 new characters as they release between now and June. So the price tag, $93. I think it's about $40 more than the asking price of the game, or almost $40 more. And the costumes are gonna arrive in a variety of packs. And so I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think this is kind of egregious? I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, I tell you what. I know that if I was a DOA, if I was planning on picking up Dead or Alive 6, I would not spend $93 on a season one pass for 62 outfits and two characters. That just doesn't make sense to me. But that's me. Maybe someone out there is gung ho on Dead or Alive 6 and feels like, oh my gosh, it's a great fucking deal. I don't see the value in it. That's just me though. Um, yeah, Born Distracted said it's a ballsy move to do. It is. It is. And they're probably, I'm sure this is probably testing the market, kind of see what the fan reaction is to this. Don't Call Me Dan says, I don't understand how they expect fighting games to sell if everyone's just going to wait for the final edition of the game. It's a good point, man. Redman 2.0 says, unfinished games need to stop. The whole, it gets better after a month. It's a great thing, man. I think it's one of the things we've seen this console generation. One of the things that has always concerned me with some of the games is services games that have been released as console gen. Not to pick on Sea of Thieves, but I'll use Sea of Thieves as one of the more notorious examples of this. A game that releases with not a lot of content, and I understand it's an open sandbox and supposed to create these experiences with your friends. That's all fine and dandy, but there's got to be some kind of substance there to at least draw you in the game, right? I mean, I just don't understand, the idea that, games will get better, after a month. And I feel like if that's going to be the case, if you're going to improve a game or add additional content, why not price the game not at full dollars, full retail $60, but why not price it at a nice entry point for gamers, or do a free to play model like a Warframe where you offer the game for free and then you have DLC and whatnot. I don't agree with charging $60 for games that aren't finished and then get better in a month. I just think that's a little ridiculous, and that's not something that I care to participate in. Black Metal Gamer says, I don't buy day one fighters. I wait for a year for a later. I wait a year for later for a deal. I can't even read tonight. Yeah, man, it's a great point. I haven't bought any fighting games in a long time. I just kind of just haven't really gotten to that genre. Black Metal Gamer says Japanese gaming is saving traditional single player experiences like Capcom from Software, Sega, Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, I do think though. I don't think we're gonna stop seeing single player games. I do think though that there probably will. Um, they'll probably, you'll probably see single player games with some kind of DLC, some kind of microtransaction type thing. I think that's probably we'll probably see that incorporated. I think, Capcom is more focused on making remasters of older franchises. They're not going to put out any new IPs. I don't think they want to take the risk. From Software, we know their pedigree. We know about Sega, Nintendo, but it's interesting. I mean, as I think this console generation, the publishers, developers have really, this has also been kind of an experience for them, a new way to generate revenue. So a lot of this is trial by error for them too, which is interesting because Fortnite's under another lawsuit. If you guys haven't heard that, I guess they used to have a loot crate system in one of the game modes that is no longer there, and apparently, the plaintiff in California is suing Fortnite for not being uh, not being transparent about the odds of actually winning the desired outcome for these loot boxes. And so they're suing, and so that brings up an interesting. I think it really brings up an interesting discussion. Like, should publishers with regard to these loot crates that are, these random rolls, what you might get. Should they start? Should they start including the odds of winning? Should they do that? I don't know. I don't. I guess in fairness to consumer, sure. You know, but then I understand that these companies are business, and they're in the business to make money. So, um, do I mean, do you kind of step in and regulate that? I don't know. I don't have the answer to it. I think it's an interesting conversation. Um, I think this is something that's going to come up as we start seeing more games like Fortnite that are popular, that are including uh, these microtransactions, or these loot crates that are you know that you can buy and take the chance of maybe getting a certain pack or item that you're hoping to get. So yeah, Board Destruction. I don't think PUBG's finished, man. I know they've added content to it, but I haven't been back. I've been back on PUBG in quite some time. Apex Legends has really, when it comes to the battle royale genre, has taken my attention away from PUBG, and it's a good game. By the way, guys, in the live chat, this is an open mic of sorts. It's your chance to pick the topics of this BRAP rant. I just figured I was kind of bored this evening, and I typically don't broadcast on Sundays, but I figured, why the hell not? Why not try something different? So the DOA thing's going to be interesting how that plays out. $93 for a season pass. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. And I believe Dead or Alive. I think Dead or Alive 6 right now is about it's about a 76 on Metacritic. It's got 68% positive reviews, 31% mixed. Interesting. God, I haven't played Dead or Alive since OG Xbox, and and we had to play using the Duke controller. Imagine that. What's up, D Truth? Fredman says someone needs to take PUBG out back and put it out of its misery. Oh, it's funny. Yeah. Does anyone know what the player count on PUBG is? I wonder how they're doing that with players. Tell you what, guys, this last couple weeks has been interesting with Dietrich says that new Samurai Showdown is gonna be lit. Yeah, that's such a classic, man. When's that come out, Dietrich? Is that out in 2019? I think it comes out, right? I think it comes out this year. Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think the new Samurai Showdown, if I'm not mistaken, might be PlayStation 4 exclusive. Is that accurate? That's great. You know what's funny, man? Samurai Showdown's an old game. I mean, Jesus, came out in 1993. Famed developer SNK, if you guys remember SNK. God, SNK used to put out some really good games. Tell you, man, back if you were gaming back in the 80s and 90s, holy shit, there was so many developers and publishers out there. It was crazy. It was a great time to be a gamer. Great time to be a gamer. Not that it's bad today. It's just It's just different, I guess. Yeah, I don't think and come to think of it, I don't think I didn't really get down with Samurai. Uh, oh, I'm on distraction. I had the game on the 3D. Oh, yeah. It's funny. We had Jay Fonzarelli on last this Wednesday. He said that he had 3DO. That's all he would play was Samurai Showdown. Too funny. So it's supposed to launch Q2 of 2019. So we're close to Q2. We're close. So probably the next month or so. Hopefully they don't launch a season pass for $93. I'll tell you that much. Let me ask you guys something. I'm gonna ask you guys in the live chat something. What do you think 343 Studios needs to do to kind of rebound from Halo 5? And I mean rebound. Look, I've been playing Halo since the first Halo. Um I I didn't like the single player campaign of Halo 5. I thought it was pretty boring actually. Which is kind of sad because always been a Halo fan, just Master Chief and you know the lore behind Halo and just a great franchise and just disappointing. Halo 4 is okay. The multiplayer in Halo 5 is definitely the best part of that game. But yeah, Halo the campaign was just boring. More distractions. I think they should branch off from Halo. They're risking burnout. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I think for me, I think I did not like the campaign for Halo 5 because I feel a little bit burned out. Now it's funny when I say this, people are like, "Oh, come on, Enrique. How can you say that? How come you're not burned out by Zelda and Mario? Why is it okay for Mario and Zelda to release 25,000 different versions of their games?" Well, that's simple because if you've actually played like I have a lot of and I've played Zelda from the beginning, the first Zelda, which came in a gold cartridge. Um, shit. I mean, if you just look at the adventure. If you just go from, if you look at the Legend of Zelda to the Adventure of Link, you'll see a difference in games. You'll see how they progressed from the first iteration to the second. Link had the side scroller platforming elements, where Zelda was more top down. You look at Mario. Mario has evolved as a platformer, um, and so it's not always an apples to apples comparison. I hear that a lot when people say that. Um, I just feel like they've gone back to the well a lot with the campaign. It just felt like repetitive. It was the grunts. Oh no, it's the devil. Whatever they say when they see Master Chief. You know, same grunts. Different enemies. Not different enemies, but different. You're fighting the same people, maybe different locations. I don't know. Just never really, just didn't really, just never really. I don't know. Just didn't do it for me. And I didn't think. I thought with Lock and everything and how it was advertised, it just kind of missed the boat for me. I guess. Really wasn't. You know, feeling it. Born Distract says or sorry, D Truth says my problem with Halo 5 campaign was all the good action was mostly cutscenes. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. Those cutscenes were pretty interesting. D Truth says after beating Halo 2, I was done with Halo because I wanted to blow heads off. I hate when you shoot something and the whole body is still intact. Shout out to Soldier of Fortune. Jeez, all right. So I think Deep Truth wants a little more mature, realistic Halo then in his next Halo. I don't know, guys. I'd like to see them try something different. I mean, maybe Halo Infinite. Maybe it's an open world sandbox Halo. I'd be okay with that. I'm not necessarily married to them sticking to the same formula. Why not try something? Why not try something different? We've seen that work. Uh, Sorry, guys. I had to take a drink of my beer, and I just spilled it on me. Hey, what's up, Graphic God? Graphic God, I hope you're not shoveling anymore, man. I know you were shoveling earlier. Apparently, Sony is offering refunds for Anthem owners. No questions asked. This according to the website WWG. They're saying apparently Sony Interactive Entertainment is offering refunds to Anthem owners. No questions asked. Earlier today, an unhappy Anthem player took to the game's Reddit page to let off some steam about the crashing issues of BioWare's new looter shooter. And more specifically, wanted a refund. Yeah, so it looks like if you're a PS4 owner, you get a refund on the game, no questions asked. It's a very unfortunate, man. I just Graphic God says Halo wasn't about gore, it's about adventure. Yeah, no, I agree. It's never about the Gears is about gore, but not Halo. Yeah, I mean, it's I think there's some definitely issues with Anthem. I mean, we're going to be talking about that a little bit more on actually this coming Wednesday. We have one of the writers from the Iron Lords or lordsofgaming.net, which is the Iron Lords podcast website. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check out the website. There's an article there about Anthem. We're going to have the gentleman who wrote that article come on and talk to us a little bit more about Anthem because it's interesting. It's definitely a game that's under the microscope because it's a BioWare game. It's a new. I mean, think about it. I mean, BioWare's always done, single player driven games, RPGs, yada yada yada. This is kind of a newer experiment for them, if you will. And I mean, it's got its issues. I mean, Dietrich says that he's, having fun with it. There's definitely parts of the game that are fun, Dietrich, but my opinion, there's definitely some issues with the game. So, don't call me Danny says that's anti-consumer. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying trying to read. I try to keep up with the chat here. Everything in the chat. Oh yeah, don't call me Nancy. Says I butchered his joke. I guess he was joking about um, Anthem. I guess being anti-consumer. All right, guys. Any other questions in the live chat? Going once. All right. I'll tell you what. Somebody asked me earlier in the podcast what I'm looking forward to. What's my most anticipated game of 2019? I'll tell you this much. I'm really, really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2019. Can't wait. Oh, don't call me Danny. Okay, so two questions in the live chat. All right. Go to D Truth 49 says, have you played the Division beta? Thoughts? Yes, I played the Division 2 beta. I like it a lot. Um, it's carried over a lot of the quality of life improvements that was made in Division 1. It still plays much like Division 1, but I'm going to have a little bit of a skewed opinion about the game. Um, and it takes place in my backyard of Washington D.C. and the game looks fantastic. I'm playing it on the Xbox One X, the HDR 4K looks great. The gunplay is great. The customization is there still. Um, you know, just a, it's I love how tactical it is. Um, as a shooter, and so I can't wait to play it. I haven't had any issues in the beta with being dropped or anything like that. I think some people have, but yeah, so far so good. I think that I think unfortunately I think what's going to happen with Anthem, it's going to kind of get buried with the release of the Division Two. I think Division Two is going to be a much better game within that genre. So yeah, Dietrich, if I had the time, man, I would probably be bouncing back between Anthem and Division, but I just don't, man. I wish I did. Let's see here. Don't call me Danny says, asked you earlier what got you into podcasting. What got me into podcasting? Let's see. I just when I started Basement Radio Arcade, I wanted to start a channel that wasn't like um community specific. I felt like there was a lot of like PlayStation 4 channels and Xbox channels. I just wanted to do something a little bit different, I guess. I just wanted to, get a group of guys together that, just enjoy gaming much and talk about gaming the way that, I used to talk about gaming with my friends when I was growing up. And so that's why I created Basement Radio Arcade. And I've had, I mean, just an absolute blast doing so. I mean, I never thought that, we'd, we'd have, the following that we do. I mean, every week, live chat, man, we have people that just, they want to be here. They want to listen to our content. They interact in the chat. It's just great. And I never thought in my wildest imagination that we would get to this point. And, I thank each and every one of you for tuning in every week and supporting us. It means a lot to us. And I never thought that I would have the opportunity to interact and talk to people who are in the industry. I mean, that's been cool. We had David Jaffe on a couple weeks ago, and he's the second time he's been on the show, and that's really cool. Had the chance to talk to Ryan McCaffrey and had him on BRAP, and I remember Ryan. Um, my earliest memories of Ryan is when he was writing for the official Xbox magazine, and that was just that's seems like such a long time ago. But just never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that we'd have the opportunity to have those conversations with the individuals that are in the industry. And what's really cool too is I go back to I don't know if people yeah, don't call me Danny says Jaffe and Forte interactions were hilarious. They were. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I used to be a moderator on the GameStop. I'm sorry, not GameStop, at the GameSpot forums. And so this goes back to 2001, I believe it was. So 18, holy shit, 18 years ago, I was a moderator on the GameSpot forums, and I started off in the Xbox community because they had the Xbox forums, they had the PlayStation 2 forums, they had the Nintendo GameCube forums, they had System Wars, and then they had general games discussion. And so I was primarily interacting and talking to people at the time that were this is before the release, right before the release of the OG Xbox. I was talking to people about the OG Xbox, what we were excited about, and at the time we knew about Xbox Live, and as we started beta testing Xbox Live, that's when you would see in the Xbox forum, specific forum um, on the GameSpot forums, you would start seeing people with Xbox Live clan signatures, and so that became a thing. And so what happened was because I became a little more well known in the community and the Xbox forums at GameSpot, and at the time GameSpot, it was I think GameSpot and IGN were like the biggest um, gaming websites I think at the time. Um, and I remember, you know, I remember just doing a lot of stuff in that community, and I would after the release, I would always post a thread. It's Friday. What Xbox games are you playing? And so that kind of stuff took off, and I was actually picked by the moderators at the time because as the website started to grow, we started getting an influx of new users, and so they needed more GameSpot moderators to moderate the community, and so I was selected, and it was cool because as a moderator, behind the scenes, you had access to a lot of the a lot of the guys that were doing reviews at the time. So if you guys remember, um, if you guys remember Greg Casavin or Greg Casavan, I always mispronounce his name, and we actually had Greg on. Greg's actually over at Super Giant Games right now, but Greg started writing for GameSpot and eventually became editor for GameSpot before getting a job in the gaming industry. But I was able to get Greg on the show because of my connection to him when he was at GameSpot, which is really cool because he used to write a lot of reviews. So we would have a lot of interaction as moderators with a lot of the um a lot of the writers at the time at GameSpot. So Greg Casavan was one. Um, oh geez, let's see here. Trying to think who else. I think God, who else was that? think Ryan Davis, who unfortunately passed away. Who were some of the other ones? And actually, I think Ryan Davison was one of the guys that left and became, um, and actually left and started Giant Bomb. Jeff Gertzman was another one that Jeff Gertzman was doing reviews and writing for GameSpot at the time, and so he was somebody that I got to interact with while I was at GameSpot. So so it's been it's like I said, it's been a great ride here at BRAP, and just just interacting with a lot of these folks that are in the industry. It's been cool. So it's I know it was a kind of a long-winded response to your question. Don't call me Danny. um, let's see here. Nate says, I think he was off. That type game plan needs to change, but he was honest about what he thought. Oh, I'm sorry. So Nate wants to know, do I honestly feel that live is better network than PlayStation now? And by that I mean playing a game on a connectivity wise. Obviously, in my experience. I got to be honest with you. I think they're pretty much on par. I mean, I haven't experienced anything abnormal playing on PlayStation Network versus Xbox Live. That wasn't the case last console generation. Xbox Live was um, uh, yes, PlayStation Network. Thank you. PlayStation. I mean, I think last console generation Xbox Live was still miles ahead, better than PlayStation Network. PlayStation Network didn't have a lot of the features that Xbox Live did, but I would say now it's pretty much a wash. I mean, I think that in terms of just online play, you could have. I mean, I've played Destiny on PlayStation Network. I've played Call of Duty on PlayStation Network. I played those games on Xbox Live, and I got to be. I haven't seen the difference, and I know people argue over that nonsense all the time, but I haven't seen it, man. To be honest with you, I don't think. I think, look, one's going to have its good days and its bad days, and that's just how it is. We've seen Xbox Live go down, we've seen PlayStation Network go down, but I see people make the claim, oh, your Xbox Live's the best place to play multiplayer games. And I would say, well, I think that's probably a preference. I don't think that's fact. Um, but just in my experience, again, I haven't played both. I think they're pretty much on par. I know there's people going to be out here that would disagree with me and think that I'm full of shit, but that's my experience. So, what can I say? Great question, though, Nate. Guys, keep the questions coming, by the way. Ask me anything. No, don't call me Dan says we all, don't call me Danny says we all know the Switch has the best online services. Yeah, I don't know about that. Obviously, he's trolling, but I'll tell you what, guys. I'm really surprised by I know I've kind of talked a lot about this subject, and the pen is truly mightier than the sword. By the way, I'm actually going to be writing an article about this on the Iron Lord's website, and it has to do with media bias. But it's not, and I talk a lot about media bias here because it's I don't know, it's just kind of fascinating to me how people put so much stock into what the media says about their purchase. I just don't. I don't do that, and so it's hard for me to understand how others do. or why they do that, but regardless, it's interesting. Like this, and this I've seen this. I've seen this come up a lot more recently with uh, you have to review Crackdown 3, and people feeling that the maybe the media and when they're doing reviews isn't really being honest, and I find that interesting. I don't I'm not sure what is driving that. I think that I it's look. I always say this last year, last console generation. It was the same thing with Sony fanboys. They were the ones that were saying the media was biased, and uh, I say I guess I get it, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's interesting. Like if you go back to media, like I remember there was an article. Let's see here if I can pull up this article. Uh, let's see here. 1998. I have a cover of an article, of a magazine article, called Next Generation. It was a gaming magazine, and the title had E3, the winners and losers revealed inside. So people talk about clickbait, right? And clickbait's not new. I mean, headlines aren't anything new. People act like the media just, I think the biggest change to the media has been the 24-hour 7 news cycle that they have to compete with. I think that's probably the biggest change, and that leads to, I think, a lot of uh, clickbait. Quiet Gamer says best podcast in the DMV. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. So this magazine title, Next Generation, says E3, the winners and losers revealed inside. Now goes back to this is issue 44, August 1998. So this is 21 years ago. 21 years ago, guys. And on the front cover is The Battle Begins. The battle begins, and it has four squares. Each square has a console in it. So it says the battle begins. PlayStation. How long does it have? Question mark. Dreamcast. Can it be stopped? Nintendo 64. Can it survive? Project X. Is it for real? I'm not sure what Project X is. I don't know if that's Xbox related or not, but all right. So I mean, this stuff is not new. Those types of headlines. All right, let's go back to see here. Let's go to last console generation. Let's see here. LifeWire website says 5 reasons to buy an Xbox 360, not a PlayStation 3 or a Wii. Forbes, who often gets criticized for being biased. Hey, Yujiro, what's going on, man? Forbes, who often gets criticized for being biased. Last console generation had a website or had a web article, 6 reasons to buy an Xbox 360 instead of a PlayStation 3. Tech Radar, how the Xbox 360 won the console war. Red Gamer Rant, Red Dead Redemption, better on the 360 than the PlayStation 3. CNET, why the Xbox 360 will win the console war. And 8 says I've just determined the Forbes guy is crazy. I don't know why you think that, but um, anyhow, I just think I think it's fascinating with the whole review stuff more recently that the stock that people put into it. I have never. I've always said reviews are things that are tools. If you're unsure about a game, they're not the gospel, but they're good source of information. Reviews, and I think people have lost. I think people confuse news journalism and reviews or stories and reviews. The reviews are always going to contain opinions based on the end user's experience and his opinions of what he played, what was processed through his mind, and it's also going to contain facts. Those facts can consist of things like performance related issues, things of that nature. And it's almost like since the release of Crackdown 3, people have really hammered the media even more. For what's interesting? It's like if a game gets a 6 or 7, it's like, oh, the media is hating on it. And that's not really accurate because they're not hating on it. A 6 and 7 is, if you talk to a reviewer, is just an okay. It's an okay game. They're not hating it. I think people, hate's been kind of a word that's been used to speak figuratively of things as a way to express, someone disliking something. Mr. Kima says Sony pays journalists for good reviews. That is not true. Um, I don't know where you get that from, but that's actually not true. Ricardo says it's funny how IGN stopped making videos about PS4 versus Xbox One once Resolution when Xbox X came out. Ricardo, you got to remember when those reviews, when those videos were coming out, one, it was a hot topic. Two, the Xbox One was $100 more than the PlayStation 4, and coming off the console generation that the Xbox had previously, and the expectation of gamers that this current gen console would at least play games in 1080p as 1080p became the standard. Um, that's why you saw those videos made, and Mr. Kima says it's true. Okay, it's not true, but if you believe that, then I'll leave you to your own devices. Um, so yeah, I mean it's why those videos were made, and so you'll probably see more of those videos return next console generation when 4K becomes the standard, which it slowly is becoming. Um, Yuri Jirahama says, I can imagine last generation PS3 got slaughtered by the media. Now people are crying wolf on Xbox brand. Get the hell out of here. Look, man, it was the PlayStation gamers last console generation that were crying media bias. I mean, it really was. Actually, and I'm going to read a snippet from this is actually Digital Foundry. Remember, Digital Foundry was criticized a lot earlier this console generation. This is a post in Eurogamer 9 years ago about a game that Digital Foundry covered, and it says the guy says again, Eurogamer has gone and done another comparison. As soon as I read the first few lines, I could sense that they are pro Xbox 360. Every game is apparently better on the Xbox 360, according to them. Even games such as Burnout, which was said to be better on PS3 by several sites, and their Dead Space comparison is laughable. So this is last console generation. We're seeing the similar things again, and so I don't know. That's why I don't believe in this whole. That's why I don't participate in the console war stuff because it really is nonsense. It's I'd rather enjoy games and discuss games and argue things that are inconsequential to me personally. Let's see here. There's one thing that I wanted to bring up. Give me a sec here, guys. Give me a sec. Ah, shit. Hold on a sec here, guys. There is something I wanted to bring up real quick. All right, guys, and please let me know if you have any other questions. It's open mic night. Take advantage of it. Shit. Let's see here. You know what, guys? I have not played Destiny in a long time. Anyone still playing Destiny? Like, what's going on with Destiny these days? Let's see here. Trying to find some Destiny related news here that I can chat about because I haven't kept up with the game. What the hell? Let's see here. Nothing new. Juro Harma says, "What's the winning number for the lottery?" I have no idea, man. Mr. Kiba says, "Remember, Sony execs and the media is on their side, basically saying they have the gaming media in their pocket." Who specifically at Sony said that? And could you provide a link, please? Because that is news to me. And I'm waiting for the link. Yeah, Juro, let's not let's refrain from name calling. Please, folks, ask me any questions. Any questions? Yeah, I'm trying to see. There's not been a whole lot of Destiny news. Tell you what's interesting. Interesting is a lot of the backlash I've seen about people worry that the Xbox console is going away. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't see that happening. Ricardo says, Enrique, do you know why a lot of people make videos about crap gamer? I don't know. I don't know why they do that. I think he is somebody who speaks his mind, and some people probably view as controversial, but maybe that's why they make videos. I look, I don't have anything against the guy personally. I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. But I don't, again, I don't have anything against him personally. He's, entitled to his opinion. Um, so, but I don't know why people make videos specifically about him. I know people do. I know people do about other YouTubers out there. I don't know. I don't know. Try to stay away from that drama, I guess. Yujiro Hanma says there's no collusion with PlayStation brand in the media. Yes, I think we can all agree on that. I think we can all agree on that. Let me ask you guys something. Out of everyone in the live chat, who owns an Xbox One X? I'm only asking because I got to say that I've been happy with it. Obviously, I think there was some skeptical. I can't even talk. Um, I think we were a little skeptical about the support that the console was going to get, but I'm telling you, playing that Division Two beta, I mean, the game looks just fantastic on Xbox One X, and I haven't played Metro Exodus, but apparently that looks awesome, 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 awesome. So I have to check that out. I haven't had the opportunity to play that. Nate says he has a day one and a 1S and was told hell no on the 1X. Oh well, yeah. If you have two GTX 1080 Ti PCs built last year, then yeah, there's no reason to go out and get an X. So, by the way, guys, apparently Anthem's already being discounted on Amazon. Amazon has reduced the price of physical Anthem copies. Wow. Hey, what's up, Boom? What's going on, man? Boom, Boomstick is in the house. So, Boom, I just did a impromptu BRAP rant where I was just trying to something different, man. Just being silly, trying to do an open mic night, let the chat control the questions. I've had some interesting questions, but it's a little bit it's been a little bit slower than usual, but it's all good. But yeah, it's crazy that Amazon's already discounting Anthem. Ugh, that's not a good sign. Let's see here. Yujiro Hanma has a question. Are you fine with streaming services, especially if Xbox is pushing in the forefront? No Xbox. Yeah. I mean, look, if I can get the same quality gaming experience and play games without needing a box, I'm okay with it. I don't. The box is a conduit to playing games, but I'm not married to the box. I don't need to have the box if I can have the same experience by turning on my TV and clicking on an app. I'm okay with that. You know, I, it's funny, like, I think a rare occasion I'll buy a 4K Blu-ray disc. If I do buy them, it's typically for movies that I really want to have the disc, only have the disc version because I just feel like the disc versions look slightly better than when you're streaming. And Nate says, as someone who actually understands the state of the network infrastructure in the United States and datacast, people are kidding themselves. They think think it's just going to show up flawless. And Nate, what about 5G? What about 5G? Because my understanding is 5G is faster than um, even having fiber optic to your house, and has less latency than Wi-Fi. And if you're streaming games, you're not, with regards to data caps, you're streaming games. My understanding is when you're streaming games, you're not necessarily downloading a whole lot of information. You're getting it in bits. So I mean, how much of an impact is going to have? Like, I feel like streaming would be a more efficient way than, let's say, like downloading a game where you're downloading like a 45 gig game or a 50 gig game. I mean, I think Nate, I think the biggest thing, I think when a lot of people think of streaming, and obviously, look, I never have used 5G. I don't, I'm just telling you what I've read and what people are saying about it. Um, I think that um, I think a lot of people are thinking about this in uh, today's infrastructure. And I don't think a lot of people are taking into account 5G. I really think that 5G is going to um, kind of push the boundaries of things in terms of web applications, um, similar to what we saw with 4G. Uh, if they're saying that, you know, um, if they're saying with 5G, if they're saying that, hey, it's faster than having fiber optic to your house, direct to your house, and has less latency than Wi-Fi. I mean, I think that's something that probably needs to be taken into consideration. That we have this technology that's out there that hasn't been released yet to the general public. Well, actually, it has. In some cities, 5G is available. We're starting to see phones that are going to be supporting 5G. CNA says, I used to be the 1% when it comes to data usage. Have you seen the data usage one series in 4Ks on Netflix that isn't evolving any actual feedback? Then Nate says, nothing will be direct fiber. Nothing will beat a direct fiber connection. And if you remember the time it took 4G to roll out, 5G is going to be even worse and needs even more tower closer than 4G. Look, man, here's what I'll say. Um, Again, I have not used 5G. But what people are saying, and when I mean people in the industry. Hold on a second, guys. I'm just trying to pull up. I had an article about this earlier. Hold on just a sec here. All right. So some of this information came out of um, the Mobile World Congress, and they talked about 5G there, and that's where they said that 5G will offer speeds faster than any fiber connection that's directly connected to your house. Um, they said that 5G will offer, even less latency than Wi-Fi. The issue with data caps, from what I'm reading, is probably more so on the um, the mobile side in regards to phones. Um, Nate says it's not that you can't play on 5G, but it isn't faster. Um, Again, Nate, I'm just telling you what I've read and what's come out of the conference, and there's everyone saying, well, I say everyone, but a lot of people are saying that 5G is faster. I mean, I've even read that some of the speeds on 5Gs are at 500 megabytes per second. Um, so I even heard rumors that Verizon is potentially going to eventually cannibalize its own a fiber optic network in favor of 5G because it's faster and they can reach more people with it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find some more information on 5G. Um, let's see. The Mobile World Congress is predicting that at 490 megabytes per second is the median speed for 5G. Shiraz says 5G kids are going to kill us all. Oh my God, it's terrible. Yeah, and you're right. The data caps. I mean, half the United States ISP companies do have data caps. I don't know. I get your point. Like, and he's saying in the live chat that in some way that they talk about new tech in an overly whimsical way, and I get that. Like that, that there's probably people out there that aren't going to benefit from it, but I get the sense that and who knows? I mean, these companies can be full of shit, but I've never seen a push to kind of close that digital divide between the haves and have-nots the way I've seen it with 5G. I mean, there's been a lot of talk from a lot of the um, like mobile providers that they want that this is going to um, close the gap. They're going to be able to get these speeds to people. Um, they're going to be able to get these speeds to people that wouldn't have access to this or didn't have access to this kind of internet before. And Qualcomm just did a simulated 5G test um, that apparently shows how fast real world speeds could actually be. And let's see here. I just want to go. I want to see what their let's see here. They say their simulations factored in conditions like geography, different user demands on the network, wide spectrum of devices with various levels of LTE and 5G connectivity for different speeds in order to accurately give us an idea of what to expect with these networks. They also said that and this is actually per The Verge, actually, if you go to theverge.com, they're the ones that put out this article. Um, let's see here. They said that various levels of, I think I read that part already. Hold on a sec here. Additionally, simulations are intended only to show the kind of 5G new radio networks that could feasibly exist next year. The non-standalone networks built in tandem with existing 4G LTE technology, not the truly standalone 5G networks that will come later on. Let's see. The Frankfurt simulation is a more basic network based on 100 megahertz of 3.5 gigahertz spectrum with an underlying gigabyte LTE network on 5 LTE spectrum bands. But the results are still staggering. They're saying browsing jumped from 56 megabits per 56 megabytes per second for the medium 4G user to more than 490 megabits per second for the medium 5G user, with roughly 7 times faster response rates for browsing. Holy shit, that's fast. I mean, I'm getting, and I don't have FiOS, Verizon FiOS. I have Comcast, which I can get. I'm getting about 475 megabytes per second download, and I'm getting booty juice upload speeds of like 12 megabytes per second. It sucks. I hate that I have shitty upload speeds through Comcast, and unfortunately, they're the only game in town right now, so it kind of sucks. Um, but Verizon's doing. I mean, gigabyte download through Comcast and Verizon now, but Verizon's going to have the better upload speeds. I always recommend Verizon because their upload speeds are much better. You know what, and Nate, I just, I don't know, man. Like, I hear what you're saying, man. Like, Google Smart, they would be deploying fiber all over the place. I guess the question is, though, like, does it make sense to do that though with 5G technology? And look, and we don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, you're right, Nate. Five terabytes for $70, no month, a month, no data cap. Yeah, you can't beat that. I agree with you 110%. I guess my question is, and again, I don't know. I mean, is it make sense for them to build that if 5G is around the corner and you don't have, I don't know. I just throw that out there. I don't, I'm just wondering. But I'll say this though. I go back to these, the speed test of Qualcomm that Qualcomm did. And if you don't know who Qualcomm is, they make chips um, for cell phones. I think the Snapdragon's probably the one most people know about. But um, and I'll read this again. So browsing jumped from 56 megabytes per second for the median 4G user to more than 490 megabytes per second for the medium 5G user, with roughly 7 times faster response rates for browsing. Download speeds also improved dramatically, with over 90% of users seeing at least 100% megabyte per second download speeds on 5G versus 8 megabytes per second speeds on LTE. It's a great question, Nate. The cost, and I think, Nate, too. The other thing that comes into question with going wireless is the privacy issue. Let's see. This I'm going to read a little bit more from the Verge.com's article on Qualcomm's simulated 5G tests. The San Francisco simulation was even more impressive. There, Qualcomm modeled a network operating at 800 megahertz. I can't even talk. Operating at in 800 megahertz of 28 gigahertz wave spectrum built on top of a on top of a gigabit LTE network on 4 licensed LTE bands, in addition to a license assisted access band. Browsing speeds went up from 71 megabytes per second for the median 4G user to 1.4 gigabytes per second for the median 5G user, and a wave coverage. I don't know what that is. With response times roughly 23 times faster. Download speeds for 90% of users went from at least 10 megabytes per second to 186 megabytes per second on 5G, with the median speed clocking in at 442 megabytes per second. Video quality also improved dramatically in both tests. The median 5G user seeking 8K 127, I'm sorry, the median 5G user seeking 8K 120 frames per second, 10-bit color video streaming. Interesting stuff. So the article goes on to say, obviously, still have a ways to go before these kinds of speeds become reality. As much effort as Qualcomm has put into its simulations, they're still only tests. And I think that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Nate. Um, you know, these things are still very much test, still very early on. But you guys in the live chat, you got to believe though, if 5G can do this and do um, can produce these, one test there, it's you're looking at speeds at over a gig, and at least at 500 megabytes per second. In Qualcomm's test, you're also seeing video quality being improved dramatically with the a median 5G user seeing 8K resolution, 120 frames per second, um, 10-bit color video streaming. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, I think, look, guys. I mean, if this stuff if they pull this off, and I'm going to say yes, because I think at the end of the day, we need to see we got to see how this plays out in real world. Um, but even let's say hypothetically, if the 5G networks only manage to pull off, half the speeds of the simulation, that's still going to be a massive jump, a massive leap that could really change how we use mobile devices and how we game mobile devices. And then you got to throw on to the technology behind X Cloud, which Microsoft is touting as you know Microsoft seems to be very bullish about X Cloud. And then Google, and they're testing their gaming streaming service now. Verizon's getting into the mix. You guys, I don't think we've talked about that a lot on BRAP about Verizon getting into the mix with their own streaming application. And Nate says, I believe it can do it, however, effective deployment, and not to mention having to invest in all new tech to use it is going to be questionable. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. Um, Obviously, there's got to be tech to support. There's got to be technology or hardware devices, whatever the case is, to support this technology. But on the flip side, we're starting to see phones come out that support 5G. The new Galaxy 10s will support that. Nate says people I know that don't have Verizon still have several areas where they can't get 4G LTE speeds. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, I don't get 4G LTE like out in the mountains. I may get 4G or 3G at times, but and that's in real rural areas. But for the most part, I do get 4G LTE. But again, my understanding is that a lot of the mobile companies are aggressively looking to expand this into those areas where there isn't 4G LTE. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, no one like I think Nate, you brought up some really excellent points. I mean, we don't know. I think at the end of the day, until this thing goes live, until we get some real world performance, um, we don't know. We don't know. But I think this is exciting. I think that I don't know. Look, I'm not behind the scenes of Microsoft, but I gotta believe that they're aware of this and probably thinking about the impact that 5G is going to have on gaming. Because you got to imagine that if you could stream, mobile, let's say 500 gigabyte, or I'm sorry, 500 megabytes per second. I got to imagine that you could probably stream some games on that, right? Outside of like a Candy Crush or something to that effect. Um, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm definitely I'm definitely excited, very excited for the future. Um, it's interesting as I'm looking more at some of these articles, Nate. Like, let's see here. There's an article by Network World, and the article says, "Oh, this goes back 4 years though." There's where the article says next generation 5G speeds will be 10 and 20 gigabytes per second. Yeah, I don't know. That's an article that's for uh 4 years old. Let me see. I'm gonna go to some of these other articles. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm reading this other article that it looks like it's an Apple dedicated website. It's talking about 9 to 5 Mac. That's the name of the website. They're saying that 5G speeds are at least consistently above 750 megabytes per second. I wonder. So it looks like 5G is be rolling out in LA, New York. Be great if we have any of our listeners that live out in Los Angeles or New York. 5G gets rolled out. Please let us know if you have the ability to access it. What that's like. Let's see here. Goodbye latency. See, remember all those video game streaming services where you could harness the power of a high-end GPU via the cloud? They still exist, but they won't take off until 5G becomes widespread. Currently, low gigabit internet availability paired with still high latency speeds prevent cloud-based gaming from being a worthwhile, enjoyable experience. However, perhaps the most promising is NVIDIA's GeForce Now, which still requires an invites to participate in beta. When 5G starts rolling out, though, will be close to a public release. I've actually heard people that are in that beta for NVIDIA's GeForce Now. They said it's freaking legit. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm seeing things at 20 gigabytes per second now for download, full bars download. And if you're getting 3 bars on 5G, you're at 100 megabytes per second. Jesus. That's quite a range. Yeah, this is fascinating. I gotta read more up on this. But Nate, thanks, man. I really appreciate your insight, Nate. Um, and Nate says I drive through places that don't have any reception, not in mountains, between several cities. I drive through places that don't have any. Nate says that's why I believe there's a room for a solid, reliable connection. Google giving 1 gigabyte speeds for $70 a month. Yeah, I mean the problem is that Google's just limiting their coverage. And Nate says G4 service just another bill I don't need. Yeah, I mean, I again, these are going to be interesting times. I think next generation. I think the tail end of next console generation is going to be very interesting. I think you'll probably see more streaming, or you'll probably see streaming ramp up potentially. But I don't know. Definitely interesting, guys. I'm really fascinated by this 5G, the possibilities of 5G now after talking about it even more, and actually, trying to read some information or some of these articles I picked up from doing a Google search. If you guys are interested, I would encourage all you guys to do a quick Google search on 5G and read into its potential possibilities. in terms of a service. So I don't know. It's gonna be exciting times for sure. Definitely exciting times. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the you pick the topics rant for this evening. I definitely appreciate it's the first time doing this. Um, Thoughts on Captain Marvel fiasco? I'm not aware of the Captain Marvel fiasco. Shirzad. So I can't comment on it. I saw some tweets about something related to Captain Marvel, but I didn't pay attention to it. Yeah, all right, everyone. Well, yeah, thanks for hey guys, seriously, thanks for hanging out. Again, this was impromptu. I just wanted to try something different. I never podcast on Sunday nights. Never done a open mic where the live chat picks the topics. But hey, if this is something that you guys would like for me to do more often, I'd be more than happy to do this. As I said, I enjoy interacting with every one of you in the live chat. It's always a great time. And again, always appreciate your support. So, on that note, everyone have a great rest of the evening, depending on where you are in the world, maybe a great rest of the day. And tune in to this coming Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Basement Radio Arcade. We're going to have some great guests on. I think we're probably going to have Rand out 419. He was supposed to be on last week, but fortunately was under the weather, could not join us. But I believe he's going to be making his return to BRAP. It's been a long time since we've had him on. And we're going to have one more guest. We're going to have Josh from the Lords of Gaming.net. He's one of the writers for the Iron Lords podcast, gaming website. And he is, yeah, he's going to talk to us a little bit more about Anthem. Because look, Anthem's kind of a big deal right now. It's a little bit under the microscope. Uh, right or wrong, because it's Bioware, it's definitely under the microscope. And uh, the reviews have not been kind to it. And if you look at the reviews, I think it's a Metacritic 6. So again, if you look at a 6 is about it's a no. It means that the game's probably okay, and it doesn't mean it's not fun. But anyhow, well, we're definitely talking about that and other upcoming topics that may pop up between now and Wednesday. So, Shiraz, Shirzad says games as a service needs to stop. We can certainly talk about that on another open mic. But everyone, again, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Again, this was something I just wanted to do on the fly. Appreciate everyone for stopping by, hanging out, asking your questions. So, on that note, I am out. We'll see you guys Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.